Okay. Hey guys, I hope you're ready. We're on, I think, episode 4 of the ingredient edit. Tonight we're talking all about the three all-star ingredients in Mindful. But before we get going, I want to just remind you guys really quickly that Mindful is part of our Mind 360 line here at New Skin. So basically, the best way to think about that is this supplement line is all about supporting your entire mental ecosystem. So it's not just mental health. Think about brain health. We have three different products that are really all stars in here, and that is Feel Calm. So that's for mood and stress. We're going to be talking about that next week. Mindful, which we're talking about tonight. That's all about clarity, memory, mental performance. And last week we talked about sharp focus. So that is really for that drive, that energy, focused attention. So each one you can use separately. You can put them all together and have kind of like the whole roundabout package, which is kind of like my vibe, how I enjoy using the line. Um, Triple threat, probably the best way to think about it. But tonight we're going to focus on mindful. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what comes in this periwinkle, baby blue, little pouch right here. So have you guys ever felt like almost like your brain's buffering? Do you guys remember like dial-up internet where like the video it's loading and loading and you're like, why isn't it going anywhere? Reading the same sentence how many times? Multiple times before it like sticks in your head, or zoning out in the middle of doing something, going into a room and forgetting why you're going into the room. I dub them senior moments. I was calling them blonde moments, but my blonde friends got mad at me. So I go back and forth between the two. But you guys all understand that energy, that vibe when that happens. And no one likes when that happens, that's for sure. You kind of stumble, you're like, what was I thinking about? What was I doing? What was happening? But it's all a part of natural aging and being in the different environments that we're in. So instead of reaching for another iced coffee and trying to fix that secondary issue and boost that energy, we're going to be talking about actually working with your brain to upgrade your brain at that level. Working on the issue in the beginning versus the end result. So, what's inside this little guy? All-star ingredient, astaxanthin. That is a powerhouse, like literally a powerhouse. Um, the way that I like to think about it, it's kind of like the antioxidant assassin. It, it, when you think about antioxidants, the best way to think about it is your body is a shiny new car. So every day, your car is going through all different things between stress, junk food, pollution, even just breathing and doing its normal processes, the engine running. What that creates is free radicals. Free radicals build up in your system, in the car. They're considered like tiny troublemakers at the end of the day. The best way to think about it is that's like the rust and the salt and the sand if you're in snowy parts in the winter that eats away at that car. What an antioxidant does is it helps protect. So antioxidants are the body's rust protectors. They neutralize free radicals before they cause chaos and problems. They keep your brain, skin, hair, nails, and everything in between running smoother, longer, and stronger. So antioxidants really are the powerhouse. But what makes astaxanthin even better? It's considered one of the top tier antioxidants. This guy, 6,000 times more powerful than vitamin C. And when you think antioxidants, that's probably the first thing you think of is vitamin C. But knowing astaxanthin packs a 6,000 time punch in comparison to vitamin C, to me, that's like mind blowing. That's crazy. Because what do you drink when you get sick? Orange juice. You go for the vitamin C. You know what it's good for. Um, Astaxanthin helps protect brain cells. It reduces inflammation and it supports visual focus. The best way to think about it, it kind of acts like a personal bodyguard for your neurons, the different cells in your brain that fire off to make the processes happen. But clinical receipts. We want to talk about the studies. What studies back astaxanthin? What do we know from the different clinical trials? So I'm going to geek out a little bit on you guys. There was a 2012 double-blind placebo-controlled study. Um, they focused on 9 milligrams of astaxanthin for 12 weeks. What they saw a significant improvement in cognitive function, especially in memory and processing speed. And this was in healthy middle-aged subjects. Those were who were tested through the study. They saw faster recall, better memory retention, and improved reaction time. So the best way to think about it is you're not just remembering your to-do list, you're crushing it before you have to get that second cup of coffee or the energy drink or things like that. Another study. So they studied astaxanthin in eye strain and visual fatigue. So a 2005 study found that just 6 milligrams of astaxanthin per day for 4 weeks, they saw an improvement in eye fatigue and focus adjustment in people who spent long hours on screens. So whether you're a Zoomer or you're pulling out your cell phone and you're on your cell phone a ton, a computer screen, um, which at this point I think is all of us. So really, this fits perfectly into uh, that digital age where we're all kind of living our lives right now. Uh, we saw improvements in physical and mental endurance. So another study, which was published in Carotenoid Science, astaxanthin was shown to reduce mental and physical fatigue, improve alertness, and boost sustained focus in athletes under stress. Okay, all of that sounds awesome to me. Next powerhouse ingredient we have is grape extract. So best way to think about this is brain fuel. It's a polyphenol, which boosts blood flow to your brain. What is a polyphenol? So, a polyphenol is an all-natural compound found in plants. It's especially found in things like grapes, berries, green tea, dark chocolate. Think of them like your body's plant-based defense squad. They fight inflammation, they protect your cells, they boost blood flow, especially to your brain. So that means sharper focus, better memory, and less brain fog. Um, they're antioxidants with a bonus round. So we talked a little bit about antioxidants. What a polyphenol does is they don't just fight the damage caused by free radicals, but they actively help fuel your performance and increase that. So it's a twofold process with polyphenols. And some of the clinical studies on grape extract. So we saw memory, focus, and reaction time improvements. So in a 2020 study, they had adults take grape extract for 12 weeks, and they saw significant improvements in working memory, attention span, and reaction time compared to the placebo. So better memory recall, lower brain fog, and better focus under pressure. We saw increased brain blood flow. So another study showed that grape polyphenols increased one of those words, blood flow in healthy young adults during tasks that required focus and memory. So this happened within hours of consumption. So almost immediate results. They saw an improvement in performance and improvement on cognitive tests. So the best way to think about it is you get more oxygen and nutrients going to your brain. More is better at that point. It helps your brain function better. Another study we saw increase in neuroprotection and anti-inflammatory benefits from grape extract. So this review had multiple trials, and they showed that grapeseed extract reduced inflammation and oxidative stress in your brain, helped protect neurons, and potentially lower the risk of cognitive decline over time. Which I don't know about you guys. If you guys have seen any of these ingredient edits leading up to now, I always say I want to get to the finish line sharp as a tack, as healthy as I can be, and I want to leave this earth because the number got to the point where it was just time for me to go. Not because I have mental decline or anything like that. I want to be sharp and witty and bold as 90, 100, whatever that number ends up being, but I want to be aware and powerful. Um, okay. Next all-star ingredient we have in here is vitamin E, which you guys probably have heard before. Most people think of vitamin E in the beauty realm. So you think about it for skin and hair and things like that. It also is great as an armor for your brain. So it slows neurodegeneration, it shields neurons from oxidative stress, and it helps maintain memory and verbal fluency, especially under pressure. Some of the clinical receipts. So we saw that it helps slow cognitive decline in aging people. So this landmark study followed older adults with mild to moderate Alzheimer's and found that high dose vitamin E slowed functional decline and delayed the need for caregiver support compared to the placebo. Wow, that's insane. Another study showed a boost in memory and mental sharpness. So this was in a study of adults age 65 and older. Higher blood levels of vitamin E were associated with better memory and verbal fluency, not just mental maintenance, but literally mental momentum, moving in the right direction, not regression. And this was especially key in high stress, high distraction environments, kind of like our everyday life for most of us at least. We saw a study that proved that it protects brain cells from oxidative stress. So vitamin E was shown to reduce oxidative stress markers in the brain, meaning it literally shields neurons from damage. It helps keep your brain's wiring smooth and functioning properly. Kind of like think of it like insulation around an electrical cord. So your brain's firing off those neurons and those electric hapses are happening and everything. This prevents like the shorts, the sparks, things like that, burnout, so you're able to function appropriately. And then icing on the cake, vitamin E is fat soluble. So what that means is it means it can actually get into your cellular membrane. It can pass through. because we have that membrane that's fat soluble. It partners with other antioxidants like astaxanthin for a stronger combined effect, which all makes sense. We put the things together for a reason because it benefits you more. Um, and it's in mindful because a tired brain isn't just unfocused, it really is vulnerable. And we really want to protect our brain, our heart, our body. We only have one of those. We want to make sure that we protect them as we age. So at the end of the day, why mindful? Um, I don't know about you guys. I'm not built to run on mental fumes. We've all been there before where you feel fried and you just can't do the things. Between Zoom calls, for me, it's doing lawns in the hot sun, my gym sessions, maybe doom scrolling on TikTok or Facebook, just trying to remember, did you take your vitamins? I don't know if you guys ever had that happen before. It's like, did I take this? I don't know. Our brains are really strung out when it comes to the end of the day. So mindful isn't about overclocking your mind. It's about fueling it intelligently so you stay clear, focused, and mentally lit without the crash. It's not just another supplement. At the end of the day, it really is a strategy. But don't take it from me. Don't take it from just the science. What I want is my friend Dawn is going to share a little bit about her experience with mindful, and we'll pass it off to you.
So, super transparent moment. The depth in which, Larry, you're gifted at explaining this. All I have sat here doing is trying not to cry because I'm thinking of all the people for the last 2.5 months that I have seen in intensive care units and SICU units and LTAC units because of my son's injury with traumatic brain injuries, and how the doctors, because I've been in, and Baylor had a small one, and that what you're talking about is what they keep talking about with fruits and foods and nutrition trying to hit. And so I will be reaching out to a lot of my friends now that I have met. And so before I get into my experience, I want to again encourage everybody to think who they can touch, who they can bless, who they can impact with this. Who do you know that has somebody who's had a concussion besides every single one of us? Who do you know that has had somebody who's fallen off a bike or has a traumatic brain injury, even small, minor, seizures, anything like that, right? I think it's so easy for a lot of us to think of these things as just a feel good something, but it truly can change, someone's life when they can heal, from the inside out. So I became aware of this product in our trip to Provo back in January because Buck and I were talking, and his mom had some cognitive issues, and he was battling. I don't think I'm sharing out of turn. He was battling some family members trying to have his mom take some of these things. My mom died at 66 from something called normal pressure hydrocephalus. It is one of the most undiagnosed injuries to the brain of anything in the United States. If you have a family member that's been diagnosed with Parkinson's, most of the time they're realizing it's normal pressure hydrocephalus, and that is where the ventricular brain valves on either side of your head fill with fluid and can't drain, and it literally atrophies your brain. So my mom died at 66, but the autopsy showed that her brain was 86. So the past 5 years, menopause, older age, stress, anytime I couldn't think of something, how many times would I pick up a cake box or whatever to make it, think I knew the recipe, threw it in the garbage and go and pick it back out again, right? To get it. That's, I think, a common thing that a lot of us can relate to. I kept panicking, thinking, is this a start of what my mom had? You know what I mean? Is it that, or again, is it menopause? All those things. Since I started taking this about a month and a half ago, all the things that you were listing off, I'm like, oh, that is better. You know what I mean? I'm not forgetting the things. Again, in a very stressful situation for our family, most stress I've ever been in my entire life, I feel good. I'm not worried about forgetting, you know what I mean? Social security for Baylor and stuff for myself. I'm not worried about, a lot of the things I used to have to worry about. I'm not misstepping when I'm speaking as often. There's going to be those once in a while that you can't remember a word, but it used to be often. And Dan even said recently, you're not having that all the time like you used to. And so the scientific data is great, but there's also the actuality of, is it working? You know what I mean? For somebody. The way that I feel now, I keep saying that between all the other things that I'm taking, but definitely this, I feel like I have the brain that I did at 25. I don't feel overwhelmed any longer. I don't feel like I can't do something. Um, all of us have times and moments where you might not be able to do something because of extenuating circumstances, and that has been my case for the last couple of months. But it wasn't that I couldn't understand how to do it or learning something new. When we came to from the previous company to New Skin, I just rewatched the video of us learning the compensation plan, and I kept seeing my face because I kept going like this, going, I don't want anybody to see because I feel like an idiot. Like I can't focus. I can't follow. What do you mean you carry this and you take this away, but you get extra here? Like I couldn't, truthfully could not understand it all. And now it's like, oh yeah, this comes from this. And so just all those things that you realize, I'm 53, that have kind of deteriorated over the last, 5, 10 years, and not having to worry about, is this a brain situation anymore? That it is just a nutrient situation. And again, whether we in the United States don't have a lot of the things that the rest of the world does because of what grows or what's allowed into our food, or pick a thing, I don't even want to argue about it. All I can tell you is it has been life changing for me. And so while, like I said, before we got on here, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to just talk about, get a hold of all your middle-aged women. You know what I mean? And some guys too, deal with that. But all the athletes that had concussions, you know what I mean? Younger years or what have you, that are struggling with different things. The amount of help that this can have, and give it a try for a few months. And, you know, I'd be curious if I could have been quizzed, you know what I mean, 2.5 months ago, whatever, before I started it. And now what my reaction time would have been, what my, ability to pivot and just, get up and go and do something different. Today, my grandson wanted to go see his dad. It's an hour drive. The old me would have been like, oh, Dax, let's just go tomorrow. You know what I mean? It wasn't on my radar. It wasn't on my plan for the day. And so the old me would have definitely tried to get out of doing that if it wasn't, needed to. It's an hour drive there, an hour drive back. It's not the most fun drive. But I'm like, okay, let's go see dad. And thinking about just the day-to-day things like that pivot, that moment, that misstep that would have been a miss before isn't a misstep now, because I have the energy to do it and I have the brain and bandwidth to go, it's not that big of a deal. Where before everything felt like a big deal. If something else was added to your plate, it was just too much. If there was 4 different steps, I might get to 2 and 3 and 4. Good luck to you. So I cannot encourage people enough to give this a try. And again, you just opened up a whole world for me of looking at it from different people's healing, that might medically on top of it have, more struggles than the average person does. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. Um, it really is a powerhouse. Three small but mighty ingredients, that's for sure. Um, so what's next for you guys? Now you heard a little bit from Dawn, you heard a little bit from me about the science. If any part of you is thinking, you know what, I I could benefit from this. I need this. I think this will help me. Seriously, don't wait. And like Dawn said, reach out to the affiliate that invited you. Give it a try. Take it for a month, 2 months, 3 months. 3 months really would be that sweet spot where you really do start to have incremental benefits from supplements, whether it's skincare, internal, external supplements, things like that. You really want to do that 2 to 3 month mark. But give your brain a chance, see how you feel, go from there. If you reach out to the affiliate that invited you within 24 hours, they might have a little gift for you, something extra too. So give this a watch, reach out, let them know what you think. From there, next week, we are talking all about Feel Calm. So that's our next product in our Mind 360 line. So whether you feel like you handle stress a little funky or you're overwhelmed, life's crazy, um, this is the line that I feel like hits home for most people. This is daily life, in and out, ups and downs, all the things. So we're going to be breaking down those ingredients, talking a little bit about your nervous system, your body, that chill factor, cortisol control, and things like that. So mark your calendar for next week. I hope you guys took some notes and learned something today from Dawn and myself, and we'll see you next week. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.